The gleaming halls of the Galactic Academy of Species Integration had seen countless alien species over its thousand-year history, but nothing had prepared them for the arrival of the humans and their companions. The Academy's pristine white corridors, designed to accommodate everything from floating gas clouds to rolling crystalline beings, fell into complete chaos on the day Tom and Kate arrived with their pets. Tom stepped through the Academy's main entrance, holding the leash of his golden retriever, Max. The dog's tail wagged enthusiastically, his wet nose twitching at the strange new scents that filled the air. Beside them, Kate cradled a carrier containing Luna, her black and white cat, who watched the proceedings with typical feline indifference. The reaction was immediate and dramatic. A group of floating jellyfish-like students shot straight to the ceiling, their translucent bodies pulsing with alarmed bioluminescence. Several plant-based beings quickly retracted their leaves, while a cluster of crystalline students refracted light in distress patterns, creating a disco ball effect throughout the entrance hall. "Please remain calm," Professor Green announced, his voice steadied despite the pandemonium. The human instructor had been preparing the academy for this moment for weeks, but seeing their actual reactions made him realize that perhaps no amount of preparation would have been sufficient. These are domesticated Earth animals. They are completely safe and under control. A tall insectoid figure rushed forward, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. Director Buzz, the Academy's principal, had reviewed the documentation about Earth's domesticated species multiple times, but seeing them in person was an entirely different matter. "Professor Green," he chittered, "when you proposed bringing human students to our institution, you failed to mention they would bring their pets," Tom supplied helpfully, while Max sat obediently at his feet, tongue lolling out in a friendly canine smile that unfortunately displayed his impressive set of teeth. Director Buzz's antennae twitched violently. "Those are predatory creatures. From a Class 12 death world. This is an educational institution, not a wildlife preserve." Kate stepped forward, her voice calm and diplomatic. "Director, I understand your concern, but Max and Luna are more than just animals. They're our companions, and they're as well behaved as any sentient being." As if to prove her point, Luna chose that moment to yawn widely, showing off her own impressive set of teeth, causing several nearby students to scuttle backward. "Perhaps we should convene an emergency staff meeting," Director Buzz suggested, his compound eyes never leaving the animals. While the staff debated in a nearby conference room, a small group of braver students gradually began to approach Tom, Kate, and their pets. A mushroom-like being with bioluminescent spots tentatively extended a tendril toward Max, who responded with a gentle sniff. "His name is Max," Tom explained, "and he loves making new friends. Would you like to see some tricks he can do?" The alien students bobbed in what might have been nodding, their initial fear slowly giving way to curiosity. Tom took out a treat from his pocket and demonstrated how Max could sit, stay, shake hands, and even play dead on command. The alien students were fascinated by this display of control over what they had initially perceived as a dangerous predator. Meanwhile, Kate had opened Luna's carrier, and the cat had found a sunny spot to settle in. A group of photosynthetic students watched in amazement as Luna groomed herself, seemingly oblivious to the commotion she and Max had caused. On Earth, Kate explained to her growing audience, humans have lived alongside animals for thousands of years. We've developed deep bonds with many species, especially dogs and cats. They're not just pets, they're family. When Director Buzz and the staff finally emerged from their meeting, they found something unexpected, a scene of peaceful interaction between species. Max was gently playing fetch with a group of students who used their various abilities to make the game more interesting. The jellyfish beings were especially good at keeping the ball suspended in midair. Luna had attracted her own fan club, who were mesmerized by her purring. "Well," Director Buzz said, his mandibles relaxing slightly, "perhaps we should give this arrangement a trial period. But," he added quickly, "there will need to be rules and safety protocols in place." Tom and Kate exchanged victorious smiles. It was a small step, but an important one. As they headed to their assigned quarters, followed by their curious new classmates, they knew that this was just the beginning of what promised to be an interesting academic year. Their mission to show the galaxy that Earth's wild beasts were more than just dangerous predators was off to a promising start. News traveled faster than light speed through the Galactic Academy's hallways. Within days, every student knew about the humans and their domesticated predators. The stories grew wilder with each retelling. Some claimed the animals could read minds, while others insisted they were actually advanced bioweapons in disguise. The truth, as usual, lay somewhere in between. The xenobiology classroom buzzed with nervous energy as Professor Green prepared for his special presentation. Today's lesson: Earth's ecosystem and domesticated species. Tom and Kate sat in the front row, while Max dozed peacefully under Tom's desk and Luna perched regally on Kate's shoulder, much to the continued amazement of their classmates. Today, Professor Green began, activating the holographic display. We'll explore the incredible diversity of Earth's biosphere. The first image materialized, an African savanna at sunset. This is just one of Earth's many ecosystems. A collective gasp filled the room as more images appeared. Lions lounging in the grass, elephants traversing dusty plains, giraffes reaching for tall branches, and eagles soaring through mountain peaks. The alien students' reactions ranged from fascination to horror. "Professor," a crystalline student chimed, their facets shimmering with concern, "are you saying humans share their planet with all these predators? And herbivores?" Kate added helpfully. "Earth has millions of different species." This statement proved too much for several students. A gasp-like sound echoed through the room as three plant-based beings promptly wilted in shock, requiring a quick spritz of revival mist from the classroom's emergency system. Blue, a shy mushroom-like student who had been gradually warming up to the humans, raised a glowing tendril. "But how do you survive? These creatures look so powerful." Tom smiled, reaching down to scratch Max behind the ears. "That's the amazing part. Humans learn to work with these animals, not against them. We studied them, understood them, and over thousands of years, we formed partnerships." Professor Green nodded, changing the display to show the evolution of wolves into modern dogs. "This is perhaps humanity's greatest achievement in animal domestication. From fierce wild predators to loyal companions like Max here." Max, hearing his name, lifted his head and wagged his tail. A floating jellyfish student, who had finally mastered their fear enough to drift closer to the ground, bobbed curiously. "But why keep them as, what's the word, pets?" Kate gestured to Luna, who had begun her afternoon grooming routine. "They enrich our lives in countless ways. They offer companionship, help us work, protect us, and even help us heal. Luna here can tell when I'm sad and always knows how to cheer me up." As if on cue, Luna finished her grooming and gracefully leaped down to investigate Blue, who had inched closer throughout the lesson. The alien student froze as Luna rubbed against their luminescent stalk, then began to purr. "She's making a vibration," Blue observed, their glow pulsing with excitement rather than fear. "It's pleasant. That's called purring," Kate explained. "It means she likes you." The other students watched in amazement as Blue cautiously extended a tendril to pet Luna, who arched into the touch with typical feline enthusiasm. The sight of a predator showing affection to a being it could theoretically consume was revolutionary to their understanding of interspecies relationships. Professor Green seized the teaching moment. "This is exactly why the Academy exists, to challenge our preconceptions about different species. Humans may come from what you call a death world, but they've developed remarkable relationships with their fellow Earth creatures." The rest of the class period turned into an impromptu demonstration. Tom showed how Max could identify different objects by name and bring them on command, while Kate explained how Luna's ancestors had helped humans by protecting food stores from rodents. The alien students were particularly impressed by Max's ability to sense emotions and respond with appropriate behavior, playing gently with nervous students and showing more enthusiasm with the confident ones. As the class ended, Blue lingered behind, still petting Luna. "I never thought I could feel safe around a predator," they admitted. "Perhaps we've been too quick to judge based on teeth and claws alone." Professor Green smiled as he watched the interaction. The Academy's experiment with human students and their pets was already achieving its goal, breaking down barriers between species and challenging deep-seated prejudices. As Blue finally said goodbye to Luna and glided away, their bioluminescence glowing with newfound confidence, he made a note to include this success in his report to Director Buzz. The galaxy's understanding of predator-prey relationships was being rewritten, one purr and tail wag at a time. The Academy's grand reception hall sparkled with unusual brilliance, its surfaces polished to mirror-like perfection for the arrival of Ambassador Crystal, the distinguished representative of the Crystal Confederation. The ambassador's visit was meant to evaluate the Academy's innovative integration programs, but no one had informed them about the presence of Earth's predators. Ambassador Crystal was a being of pure geometric precision, their translucent body refracting light in complex patterns that indicated their status and mood. The moment they spotted Max and Luna in the reception hall, their entire form flashed a dangerous red. "What is the meaning of this?" Their voice chimed like breaking glass. "Director Buzz, you dare to endanger our delegation with unrestrained Deathworld creatures?" Director Buzz's antennae drooped in distress. "Ambassador, I assure you these are trained companions of our human students. They have proven quite safe." "Safe?" The ambassador's facets pulsed with incredulity. "These are predators from a Class 12 Death World. Their presence here is an outrage. I demand their immediate removal." Tom and Kate, who had been proudly showing Max and Luna's training to a group of admiring students, found themselves at the center of a diplomatic crisis. Professor Green stepped forward to mediate, but before he could speak, chaos erupted. A crystalline junior diplomat, attempting to distance themselves from Max, accidentally stepped backward onto the dog's tail. The sound of Max's yelp echoed through the hall like a thunderclap. Every alien present tensed, expecting a violent reaction from the dangerous Earth predator. Instead, Max simply looked up with sad puppy eyes and gave his tail a few tentative wags, checking if it was okay. The junior diplomat, frozen in place, slowly realized that the supposedly ferocious beast wasn't attacking them. But the drama wasn't over. Luna, startled by the commotion, had spotted the dancing light patterns reflecting off Ambassador Crystal's surface. To a cat, these moving lights were irresistible. Before anyone could react, she launched herself into an acrobatic chase of the light reflections. In her pursuit, Luna knocked over an ancient crystalline artifact, a priceless sculpture that had been a gift from the Confederation's founding members. The artifact wobbled precariously on its pedestal. Time seemed to slow down. Tom lunged forward, but he knew he wouldn't reach it in time. Then, to everyone's amazement, Max sprang into action. With remarkable gentleness, he caught the falling sculpture's base with his nose, stabilizing it until Tom could secure it properly. Ambassador Crystal, who had been about to shatter in outrage, paused mid-flicker. "The predator saved our artifact?" "Max is trained to help," Tom explained, scratching his dog's ears in praise. "Both he and Luna aren't just animals, they're intelligent, emotional beings who care about those around them." Kate had meanwhile caught Luna, who was still entranced by the light show. "Luna wasn't being destructive, Ambassador. She was playing. Here, let me demonstrate." She pulled out a laser pointer, showing how Luna would chase the red dot with the same enthusiasm she'd shown for the ambassador's light reflections. The ambassador's color shifted to a contemplative blue. "Playing? Your predators play?" "They do much more than that," Professor Green interjected. "They can recognize emotions, show empathy, and even help with healing. Our medical department has been studying the calming effect they have on stressed students. Blue, who had been watching nervously from the sidelines, floated forward. It's true, Ambassador. I was terrified at first, but Luna helped me overcome my fear of Earth species. She's gentle and affectionate. As if to prove Blue's point, Luna chose that moment to purr loudly, her rumbles creating interesting resonance patterns in the crystalline being's surfaces. Several of the Confederation delegates tilted in fascination. The junior diplomat who had stepped on Max's tail finally found their voice. Ambassador, when I hurt the canine accidentally, it responded with remarkable restraint. No wild predator would show such control. Ambassador Crystal's surface rippled with thoughtful patterns. Perhaps we have been too hasty in our judgment. Director Buzz, I would like to learn more about these Earth companions. Their behavior defies our expectations of predatory species. The tension in the room dissolved like morning mist. As the ambassador began asking detailed questions about Earth's domesticated animals, Director Buzz's antennae relaxed. What had nearly become a diplomatic disaster had transformed into an opportunity for greater understanding. Tom and Kate exchanged relieved smiles. Their pets had once again proven that the galaxy's prejudices about Earth's dangerous creatures were unfounded. Sometimes, it took a near catastrophe to break down the strongest barriers to understanding. The weeks following Ambassador Crystal's visit brought remarkable changes to the Galactic Academy. What began as reluctant tolerance of Earth's dangerous beasts transformed into genuine curiosity and innovation as students and staff found creative ways to integrate Max and Luna into daily academy life. Spark, a brilliant engineering student with a body made of pure energy contained within a protective field, approached Tom one morning with an unusual proposal. I've been observing Luna's behavior, they hummed, their form flickering with excitement. She needs to scratch, yes. But standard surfaces don't meet her requirements. Tom nodded, having noticed Luna's increasing frustration with the Academy's scratch-resistant walls. That's right. On Earth, she had a special scratching post. I've designed something better. Spark proudly revealed their creation, a scratching post that incorporated several alien technologies. The structure could adjust its texture to Luna's preference, self-repair any damage, and even emit calming frequencies that cats found appealing. When Luna first approached the post, everyone watched nervously. She sniffed it cautiously, then stretched up and dragged her claws down its surface. The post responded by generating a soft glow and gentle warmth. Luna's purrs echoed through the hall as she claimed the invention as her favorite spot. Meanwhile, the floating jellyfish students, who had once fled to the ceiling in terror at the sight of Max, made an unexpected discovery. Their natural ability to manipulate gravity made them perfect playmates for fetch games. They could keep the ball suspended in mid-air, creating challenging and entertaining trajectories that Max loved to chase. Watch this, called Float, the most enthusiastic of the jellyfish students, as they made Max's ball dance through a complex pattern. Max followed with impressive agility, earning appreciative pulses of bioluminescence from the gathered crowd. Professor Green seized upon these developments to enhance his teaching curriculum. Today's lesson will be about adaptive behavior and cross-species cooperation, he announced to his xenobiology class. Please observe how Max adjusts his play style for different species. The class watched in fascination as Max demonstrated remarkable awareness of each student's physical capabilities. He played gently with the more delicate crystalline beings, showed extra patience with the slower-moving plant species, and matched the energy level of the more active students. Even Director Buzz found himself reconsidering his initial fears. During one memorable afternoon, he discovered Max sleeping peacefully next to his office door. Most curious, he chittered quietly, noting how the dog's presence actually made him feel more secure. The Academy's medical bay reported an unexpected benefit: the presence of Earth's pets had a calming effect on stressed students. During exam periods, Luna would often find her way to the study areas, choosing a different student each day to sit with. Her purring seemed to have a universally soothing effect across species. The frequency of her purr, explained Doc, the medical bay's chief physician, whose gaseous form swirled with interest, appears to reduce stress indicators in nearly all species we've tested. Quite remarkable. Blue, who had become one of Luna's favorite companions, organized a weekly Understanding Earth Companions club. Students would gather to learn about different Earth animals and discuss how their own worlds might benefit from similar bonds with local creatures. On my world, Blue explained during one meeting, their bioluminescent spots glowing softly, we never considered that predators could be more than threats. But Luna and Max have shown us that intelligence and empathy can exist in unexpected forms. The Academy's adaptation reached new heights when a group of technology students developed a universal translator specifically for understanding Max and Luna's body language. The device could interpret tail wags, ear positions, and various vocalizations, helping alien students better understand their Earth companions' emotions. The complexity of their communication is fascinating, marveled Tech, the student who led the translator project. A tail wag isn't just happiness, it can mean excitement, nervousness, or friendly greeting, depending on the context. As the term progressed, the sight of Luna perched on Blue's glowing form during lectures, or Max playing fetch with a group of mixed-species students, became normal parts of Academy life. The pets had their own schedules now, dividing their time between their human companions and their many alien friends. Professor Green, watching Max comfort a homesick crystalline student while Luna supervised a group study session from her new scratching post, smiled contentedly. His report to the Academy board would show more than just successful integration, it would demonstrate how the presence of Earth's companions had enriched their entire community in unexpected ways. The Academy's environmental systems were designed to maintain perfect conditions for hundreds of different species. Each section had its own carefully controlled atmosphere, temperature, and radiation levels. No one expected these sophisticated systems to fail, until they did. The first warning came from Max. During a routine morning walk with Tom through the Academy's lower levels, the golden retriever suddenly stopped, hackles raised. His nose twitched rapidly, and he let out a low, urgent whine. "What's wrong, boy?" Tom asked, noticing Max's unusual behavior. The dog turned toward a maintenance panel, pawing at it anxiously. Spark, who happened to be floating nearby, scanned the area with their energy-sensitive field. "I don't detect anything unusual," they hummed, but Max's whining grew more insistent. Tom had learned to trust his dog's instincts. "Something's definitely wrong. Can we get a maintenance check?" Before Spark could respond, the Academy's lights flickered ominously. A moment later, Director Buzz's voice echoed through the communication system, "Emergency protocols activated. We've detected a radiation leak in the lower levels. All students please proceed calmly to your designated safe zones." The evacuation began, but chaos quickly ensued. The radiation interfered with the Academy's navigation systems, leaving many students disoriented in the increasingly dark corridors. The backup lights cast an eerie glow that many species found difficult to navigate by. "The radiation is affecting our bioluminescence," called Float, their usual bright glow dimming worryingly. "We can't see where we're going." That's when Luna's abilities proved invaluable. Her feline eyes, perfectly adapted to low light conditions, allowed her to see clearly in the darkness. Kate noticed how her cat seemed to know exactly which paths were clear. "Luna can guide us," Kate announced. "Her night vision is perfect for this." She picked up her cat, who remained remarkably calm despite the crisis. "Luna, show us the way." The cat's eyes glowed in the darkness as she pointed her ears toward safe passages. Kate followed her pet's cues, leading a group of frightened students through the darkened corridors. Luna would hiss softly when they approached dangerous areas, her acute senses detecting the harmful radiation that their equipment could no longer measure. Meanwhile, Max's sensitive nose had detected something else: trapped students. He pulled Tom toward a sealed chamber where several crystalline students had been conducting an experiment when the systems failed. "Help!" their voices chimed weakly through the thick doors. "The radiation is affecting our structural integrity." The normal opening mechanisms had failed, and the manual override was located in a section showing dangerous radiation levels. That's when Max demonstrated another Earth animal ability that amazed his alien observers: his willingness to put himself in harm's way to help others. Before anyone could stop him, Max dashed through the radiation-affected area, using his nose to locate the manual release lever. His thick fur provided some natural protection against the radiation, allowing him to reach the controls that the others couldn't safely approach. "Remarkable," exclaimed Professor Green, who had joined the rescue effort. "Earth animals evolved natural resilience to various forms of radiation. Their bodies can handle short exposures better than many species." With Max's help, they rescued the trapped students. The dog then led them through the safest route to the evacuation point, his keen sense of smell allowing him to detect and avoid the worst of the radiation pockets. In another section, Luna had guided Kate's group to safety, but the cat suddenly became agitated. She leaped from Kate's arms and darted down a side corridor. Following her, they found Blue trapped behind some fallen debris, their bioluminescence barely visible. "Luna heard my distress signals," Blue explained after being rescued. "They were too faint for most species to detect, but her sensitive ears picked them up." The crisis lasted for several hours before the Academy's engineering team managed to contain the radiation leak. When the final count was taken, not a single student had been lost, thanks in large part to the natural abilities of Earth's dangerous pets. Director Buzz called an immediate meeting of the Academy board. "Today's events have proven something remarkable," he announced, his mandibles clicking with emotion. "These Earth companions possess abilities that complement and enhance our own. Their presence here isn't just about cultural exchange, they've become essential members of our community." As the Academy returned to normal operations, Max and Luna received special commendations for their roles in the crisis. The radiation incident had demonstrated something profound: Earth's animals weren't just pets or predators, they were partners, bringing their own unique strengths to the galactic community. News of the radiation crisis and the crucial role played by Earth's dangerous pet spread quickly through the galactic communication networks. The Academy found itself at the center of interstellar attention, with delegations from various worlds requesting visits to learn more about these remarkable Earth companions. Among the first to return was Ambassador Crystal, but this time with a vastly different attitude. Their crystalline form shimmered with excited colors as they watched security footage of Max and Luna during the crisis. "Extraordinary," the ambassador chimed, their facets reflecting rainbow patterns across the conference room walls. "These creatures you once feared as mere predators showed more courage and intelligence than many advanced species might have in the same situation." Director Buzz nodded, his antennae waving proudly. "They've completely transformed our understanding of Earth species. We've learned that what we once saw as simple predatory instincts can be incredibly sophisticated survival tools." The ambassador's surface rippled with curiosity. "The Crystal Confederation proposes a cultural exchange program. We wish to understand how humans developed these relationships with their fellow Earth creatures. Perhaps there are species on our own worlds that we've similarly misunderstood." Tom and Kate found themselves appointed as unofficial ambassadors, conducting workshops for visiting delegates about responsible pet ownership and animal care. The Academy's lecture halls were filled with representatives from across the galaxy, all eager to learn about Earth's approach to interspecies relationships. "The key is understanding and respect," Tom explained to a group of visiting officials, while Max demonstrated his training. "These aren't just animals we've dominated, they're partners we've learned to communicate with." Kate added her own insights, gently stroking Luna as she spoke. Each species has its own intelligence, its own way of thinking and feeling. The trick isn't to change that, but to work with it. Blue, who had become something of a celebrity after Luna saved them during the crisis, started teaching a popular seminar called Breaking the Predator-Prey Paradigm. Their glowing form would pulse with enthusiasm as they shared their journey from terror to trust. "I used to think that sharp teeth and claws meant danger, nothing more," Blue told their rapt audience. "Now I understand that these features are just tools, like my bioluminescence or your crystalline structures. It's how they're used that matters." The Academy's research department began documenting unexpected benefits of human-animal bonds. They discovered that the presence of Earth pets had measurable positive effects on various species' mental and physical well-being. Even the most skeptical scientists couldn't deny the data. "The frequency of Luna's purring," reported Doc, displaying complex holographic charts, triggers relaxation responses in 82% of known sentient species. And Max's emotional intelligence rivals that of our most sophisticated empathy machines. Professor Green found himself hosting delegations from prestigious scientific institutions across the galaxy. "What humans have achieved with their animal companions isn't just domestication," he explained. "It's a blueprint for interspecies cooperation that could revolutionize how we approach diversity in the galaxy." Even the Crystal Confederation's most conservative members were won over when they discovered that Luna's prismatic vision could detect subtle flaws in crystalline structures, potentially preventing future fractures. Meanwhile, Max's ability to sense chemical changes proved valuable for their atmospheric monitoring systems. "We've been looking at Earth's wildlife all wrong," Ambassador Crystal admitted during a formal address. "We saw them as threats because they evolved on a death world, but that very environment forced them to develop capabilities we never had to. There's so much we can learn from them." The Academy began receiving applications from other human students with their own pets. Each application was carefully reviewed to ensure the animals were well trained and suitable for the academic environment, but the very fact that such applications were being considered marked a revolutionary change in policy. Tom and Kate's pets had become more than just companions, they were pioneers in their own right. Luna could often be found in the library, her presence calming stressed students during exam periods, while Max had become an unofficial therapy dog for homesick aliens missing their own worlds. "Remember how scared everyone was when we first arrived?" Kate mused to Tom one evening, watching Luna play with a group of young crystalline students who were fascinated by her ability to chase light patterns. Tom smiled as Max gently accepted treats from a formerly terrified jellyfish student. They just needed to understand that being different doesn't mean being dangerous. Sometimes the best way to break down barriers is to show that even the scariest-looking creatures can have the gentlest hearts. Director Buzz, observing from his office, began drafting a proposal for the Galactic Education Council. Perhaps it was time for all academic institutions to reconsider their approach to interspecies integration. After all, if a cat and a dog could help bridge the gap between Deathworlders and the rest of the galaxy, what other wonderful partnerships might be waiting to be discovered? The grand auditorium of the Galactic Academy sparkled with the combined light of 1,000 different species as the first-ever Terran Animal Studies graduation ceremony began. What had started as a controversial experiment with 2 Earth pets had blossomed into the Academy's fastest-growing department. Director Buzz stood at the podium, his exoskeleton polished to a ceremonial shine. "When Tom and Kate first arrived with Max and Luna, I thought they had brought dangerous predators into our halls. Today, I stand before you to admit how wonderfully wrong I was." The audience rippled with appreciative colors and sounds. In the front row, Max sat proudly wearing a specially designed academic collar, while Luna perched regally on a cushion, her own collar adorned with the Academy's symbols. "These Earth companions," Director Buzz continued, "have earned the title of honorary animal ambassadors, the first of their kind in galactic history. Their presence has taught us lessons that extend far beyond simple interspecies cooperation." Professor Green stepped forward to present the commendations. Max and Luna have demonstrated that intelligence and empathy come in many forms. Their actions during the radiation crisis saved lives, but their daily interactions have saved something equally precious: our preconceptions about what different species can achieve together. The ceremony paused as Max padded forward to accept his medal, tail wagging with dignified joy. Luna followed with characteristic feline grace, accepting her own award with a gentle purr that resonated through the auditorium's perfect acoustics. But perhaps the greatest achievement, Blue announced, their bioluminescent form glowing brightly from the podium, is how they've inspired others. Today, we welcome the first class of the new Companion Species Integration Program. The back doors of the auditorium opened, revealing the incoming class of new students, humans and aliens alike, each accompanied by carefully selected animal companions from their home worlds. There were gentle herbivores from crystal forests, luminous floating creatures from gas giants, and even some rehabilitated predators from worlds nearly as challenging as Earth. Each of these companions, Kate explained to the audience, has been chosen and trained following the principles we learned from Max and Luna. They're not just pets, they're partners in building a more connected galaxy. Tom stepped up to share the practical results of their experience. The Academy has developed new safety protocols and training methods, combining Earth's animal handling techniques with advanced alien technology. Every new companion has been carefully evaluated for their ability to integrate into academic life. Ambassador Crystal, who had become one of the program's strongest supporters, chimed in with their own announcement. The Crystal Confederation has discovered 17 species on our homeworld that show potential for companionship bonds. We would never have recognized this possibility without Earth's example. The ceremony continued with demonstrations from the new companion pairs. A student from a high-gravity world introduced their six-legged therapy animal, which could help stabilize other species in the Academy's varying gravity zones. Another student demonstrated how their bioluminescent companion could safely guide different species through environments that would otherwise be challenging for them. But beyond the practical applications, Director Buzz chittered proudly, these companions bring something more valuable: they bridge the gap between different ways of thinking, different ways of being. They remind us that intelligence, loyalty, and love are not limited by species or evolution. As if to demonstrate this point, Max suddenly stood up and walked over to a nervous-looking new student, offering a friendly paw just as he had done with Tom and Kate's classmates at the beginning of their academy journey. Luna, not to be outdone, gracefully made her way to a group of new companions, showing them the same accepting attitude she had shown to Blue so many months ago. Looking to the future, Professor Green concluded, we see unlimited potential for growth and understanding. Each new companion brings unique abilities and perspectives to our community. They are not just animals or pets, they are teachers, helpers, and friends. The ceremony ended with a spectacular display of unity, hundreds of different species and their companions, gathered together in harmony. The sight would have been unimaginable just 1 year ago. As the celebrations continued, Tom and Kate watched their pets interact with the new arrivals. Did you ever think, Kate asked, scratching Luna behind the ears, that bringing our pets to school would change the galaxy? Tom smiled as Max returned to his side, tail wagging. Maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes the best way to change the universe is simply to share what makes your own world special. Director Buzz, watching the proceedings with satisfaction, made one final entry in the Academy records: today marks not just a graduation, but a beginning. The age of companion species has arrived, and the galaxy will never be the same.